I have been in babyland lately, as I'm gearing up to teach my Making a Baby online class at the end of this month, and I just finished a baby fig by the name of Baby Rose. If you want to join me in this online class or you want to make your own baby fig, you can find links to both in the video description. So naturally, babies have been swirling in my head. When I shared a glimpse of Baby Rose in my Instagram stories, someone asked me if there were other ways to make baby doll hair and which one was my favorite. I've mentioned here before that one of my favorite styles of doll hair is the traditional Waldorf-inspired way of making a wig using doll-making mohair yarn. It just gives the doll such a nice head full of hair. It is natural and somewhat safe, not for babies of course, and the hair ages so beautifully. This is the style of doll hair I gave my most favorite doll in the world, my doll poet. So, as you can see, I am a big fan of this type of doll hair and consider it the style of choice if I'm making a baby doll. How do you go about doing it? Well, I've included this hairstyle in most of my doll making ebooks, so if you like step-by-step written instructions, look for one of those. I've also included a simplified version in the step-by-step video instructions on making the doll hair wigs for Hansel and Gretel, a free doll making series that helps you create a set of dolls if you're a beginner doll maker. The technique I use is basically to make a little hat and unwind the mohair from the coarse strand so you can loosen the fiber as much as possible as you make each stitch. This is what gives you a fluffy doll wig of soft hair. Of course, this takes quite some time to achieve, but in this style of doll making, we're not into rushing things. I had a very young doll maker in one of my online classes. She's 12 years old. She made a beautiful doll and made the wig all by herself with my instructions, so if she can do it, so can you. Now for some tips. If you're making little dolls, I would recommend you make single crochet stitches, as that will give you the fullest head of hair. If you are making slightly larger dolls, do what I do. Use half double crochet so that your doll wig grows a little faster and the head is not so terribly full of hair. If crochet is not your thing, or you want to experiment with different hairstyles of doll hair for your baby doll, you can do the knotted yarn version or even use embroidery. Of course, as a last resort, you can make a wig cap with furry fabric and just sew it down to the doll's head. In doll making, the world is your oyster, and you can try many different ways of doing things. There is really no right or wrong other than trying to achieve high quality, safe, and sturdy dolls. So for the knotted yarn version, you cut strands of wool yarn or yarn of choice. I like to use bulky yarn as the knots then look more like beautiful curls. You make knots all along the yarn strand, and using your clever design eyes, you sew it down to the doll's head in a way that is most pleasing to you. This is a really brilliant way to make doll hair, and I love the look of it. option is to use embroidery. You can make long and short stitches to cover the doll's head. You can even leave some strands hanging out. You can use different stitches to create curls like French knots, couching, or even design curls in the hair by the way you embroider it. One of the awesome things about doing the knotted yarn and the embroidery version is that you can easily change the texture and color by using different materials. One little tip, if you're going to embroider the baby's hair, then try to make as beautiful a doll head as possible, with no chunky seams when you close the doll skin cover, so as to not disturb your embroidery stitches. So that's that. I think I've answered the question of which styles of doll hair you can try if you're making baby dolls. There is one more style I'm experimenting with right now, but once I have it down, I will share my thoughts on it. I'll probably share that on Patreon, as I like to share a lot about my process over there. If you like hearing what I'm up to and how I make things, I've recently shared via this live stream how I made the hair on Sewn and Magnolia using wool locks, or how I went about constructing this 18th century inspired wool coat for Naval. Almost entirely hand sewn. It even has horsehair canvas and padded breast. Or you can read a plethora of articles on doll making via my tips and tricks column, such as how to make smooth skin covers, my best tips on embroidering doll eyes, sculpting with wool, etc. I hope to see you there, or I hope I've inspired you to try making a baby doll, one stuffed with lovely wool using cotton skin and lovely doll making mohair yarn for their hair. If you do, I think you should show me. Thanks for watching.